Welcome back to the Scoop College Basketball Podcast. I am back for another conference preview, back for the CAA, the Coastal Athletic Association, formerly the Colonial Athletic Association, as it was known last year before the recent change. So, yeah, again, if you listen to the what conference was it to? The Big South Podcast? Yeah, it was just me on the microphone. It's just gonna be me for this one as well. Maybe another person on ACC one upcoming, but yeah. Just me here. So yeah, just need to fit this in. Season starts in 2 hours, so just gotta improvise here and be the one on the microphone. But yeah, so that's gonna happen. But yeah, this is the downside of being the only one podcasting. I just get off in tangents and don't even know what I'm talking about. But we do have the Coastal Athletic Association, as it is known now. Predicted as the 20th conference this upcoming year, and KenPom was 26 last year. There was a big drop off between the top teams and the bottom teams, but I think that could definitely improve a little bit, as I will get into. New team in the conference. Campbell joins. Definitely CAA conference with decent amount of expansion recently. So yeah, but the all conference members from last year, which I will be pulling up now. Yeah. So Aaron Estrada was the player of the year. He transferred to Alabama. Dalton Bowen from Charleston exhausted his eligibility. Jameer Nelson Jr. transferred to TCU. Nick Timberlake transferred to Kansas, and Amari Williams back at Drexel. All CAA second team. Cam Holden exhausts his eligibility. Tyler Thomas back at Hofstra. Charles Thompson back at Towson. Trezarian White back at UNCW. And Cam Woods transferred to NC State. On the third team, Ante Brzovic, he is back at Charleston. J.R. Davis back at Delaware. Ryan Larson exhausts his eligibility. Tyler Stevenson Moore back at Stony Brook. And Jamil Telfort transferred to Butler. So solid returning continuity out of those all-conference teams. Yeah. So coaching changes. Do we have any coaching changes? I actually don't know if there is any coaching changes. Let me kind of scroll through these. I don't think there were any coaching changes in the league this year. And North Carolina A&T, they have a new coach. Believe it is Monty Ross is their new coach. That's his name. Yeah. Former Delaware coach. It was a decent hire. Probably could have been better things, better hires. Probably could have been worse hires as well. Previously been an assistant at Temple, where he was the past few years. Was coach for nearly 10 years at Delaware. Had some ups and downs. Got a tournament once. Also finished on a low note. But yeah, so it's a decent hire. For North Carolina A&T. We'll see how this pans out. I actually don't know if it's going to be a good hire at all, but we will see on that note. But yeah, with my all conference teams, my player of the year would probably be Bryce Butler for Charleston. Maybe that's not a super popular pick, but I think Charleston's the best team in the league. Butler really put up numbers at D2 level, averaging like over 20 points per game, a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists too. Really skilled player, not the most like quick athletic player, but I think definitely should make a big impact at Charleston. Pat Kelsey knows how to recruit from anywhere. Trezarian White, another guy I have. UNC Wilmington's the best player. Another team I like. I think he should be in for a big season this year. Anthony Delorso from Campbell. Really good freshman last year for Campbell in the Big South. Really liked what I saw from him in a few Campbell games I watched, and definitely think he's a guy that could really take his game to the next level. Entered the portal this offseason, came back to Campbell, so big things in store for Delorso with the Fighting Camels there. J.R. Davis from Delaware, another guy I have in my first team, can really get buckets. Should see an even bigger role with some depleted talent around him, some big time pieces leaving like Jameer Nelson Jr. I think Davis can even step up a little bit more there. And Amari Williams from Drexel is my final guy. Drexel is another team I really do like. Williams is an elite defender, one of the best defensive big men in the country. Should really help him out there. Also, decent scorer, really good rebounder. Definitely a very underrated player overall in the grand scheme of things in the country. So, yes, moving to the second team, I have Tyler Thompson from Hofstra. Is going to put up big numbers there. Definitely could have been a first-team guy. I have Jordan Nesbitt for Hampton. Was an impactful player for Hampton last year. Not a good Hampton team, but I think he's really elite athlete for his conference. Pretty decently skilled, and if he can put up big numbers, even though I don't think Hampton's going to be great, I think he can sneak onto the all-conference teams. I have Tyler Stevenson Moore from Stony Brook. Returning all-conference guy. Stony Brook's going to be a lot better this year, so I chose him to be on there. Charles Thompson for Towson, another all-conference returning player that should be a very solid piece for the Tigers. And then my last guy is Ante Berzovic. I feel like a lot of people have him as Charleston's best player, which I definitely could see happening as well. Personally, I'm going with Butler, but Berzovic is going to be a very solid piece. Very solid, skilled big man with more minutes this year. On the third team, I have Rain Smith for Charleston. Very good shooter. His game is just shooting from three. Should be a very impactful player on this year's team as well. Gabe Dorsey for William Mary, another player that is known as a shooter, can really fill it up from deep. Max McKinnon for Elon, CAA Rookie of the Year last year. Definitely think he can take a step up. Maybe Elon gets a little bit better as well as a team. So definitely something I'm looking for there. KJ Jenkins for UNC Wilmington, another transfer I had on my list. Really liked him at New Mexico. Can really shoot the ball. I don't think I ever saw him miss a three when I was watching him. So interested to see how he evolves into more of a go-to option, maybe more of a creator himself, moving up a level, down a level, I mean. But yeah, still a solid team. I think he could make a big impact. And my last member, I went with another Charleston team member of their team, and Frankie Policelli. I think Charleston's so good, and Policelli was really good in the conference last year at Stony Brook. I think he can still be very impactful at a different school in the conference. Better coaching, better system to succeed in. Top 10 transfers. Number 1, I had Butler, obviously, as my player of the year. I had number 2, Policelli, really good rebounder, solid athlete there as well. 3, I had Xander Rice going to Monmouth, playing for his dad, King Rice. Should really fill his stat sheet up at Monmouth. A good guard, can really score. 4, I have KJ Jenkins. I've been talking about him. Number 5, I have Messiah Jones. Really efficient big man forward going to Towson. I think him and Thompson form a very solid front court duo. Very solid defensively, pretty good in offense as well. Number 6, I have Gerald Drumgoole from Delaware, coming from Albany. It was a decent scorer there. Should continue to be a very solid player, and maybe get a lot of the scoring load after obviously Nelson left, as I previously mentioned. Number 7, I have CJ Fulton for Charleston. Very solid point guard, can really pass the ball, decent shooter as well. It's solid. You're going to be a really solid glue guy point guard at Charleston. Going to do a little bit of everything that should really provide the Cougars with some help there. Number 8, I have Sean Haupt from William Mary, coming from Florida Tech, I believe, to D2 level. Can really score the ball there, put up some big game performances towards the end of the season. So I think he's a guy that could definitely see a really good scoring year in the D1 level. Number 9, I have Kobe Rogers from Charleston, coming from Nova Southeastern D2 champs. I think he was a starter on the team, maybe 6th man. I think he was a starter though. He at least played some really solid minutes. They had a lot of good players. So yeah, a lot of players they had transferred up to D1 level. He was one of them. Should be very solid depth piece for rotational piece for Charleston. Number 10, I had Jaco Fritz for Hofstra. Really efficient player, really does a lot of things you want. Coming from Canisius, I think he could honestly be higher on this list. If you were to critique that, I would be perfectly okay with that. Yeah, definitely think he's a guy to watch out for. Moving to my breakout players, I have a German Plotnikov for Hofstra. Definitely someone I think could take a scoring jump. Obviously, Estrada's gone. They're going to need somebody to score, and I think they can be him. He's a very solid scorer shooter. Should take a little bit of a jump this season. Was a solid defensive player too last year. So yeah, I think overall he can just take a little bit of a jump with more minutes, and yeah, that's just gonna be in his favor. Jared Turner for Northeastern, another guy I have was really efficient from three last year as a freshman. One of the first players Hoop School Media ever interviewed back in the day. That was a long time ago, but yeah, Jared Turner. We at Hoop School Media are fans of his and completely unbiased. So like I think he's actually a candidate for a breakout. Northeastern needs some guys to step up. He was good as a freshman. Definitely think he could expand his role as a sophomore. I have Larunas Valasturius from Campbell. Campbell's gonna need some guys to step up outside Delorso. I think he can be a solid front court player for them. Christian May from Towson. Probably going to be in a starting lineup with some injuries, uncertainty on eligibility for Towson has a few of those guys like that. So I think Christian May can play some big minutes on the wing right away. And then my last guy was L.A. Pratt for Elon. Was okay as a freshman, didn't do much, but I think a guy that could definitely see a big increase as a sophomore. Was formerly committed to Duquesne at one point, so I think he's a very solid piece in the conference. Moving to my all freshman team, I have Jaden Lamond for William and Mary. I think he at one point was a really highly regarded recruit. Kind of fell down the ranking services, not kind of lost a lot of stock, but I think he can still be a very solid player. I mean, he still has a lot of potential and good get for William and Mary for sure. Another guy I had was Meyer Wolf from Charleston. Hard to leave him off. Don't know the minutes he's going to get because Charleston's just so stacked, but he's really athletic. Really good shooter for his size. So he's definitely a guy I like, and hopefully he stays at Charleston all 4 years, or at least like a long time, because he can really be a dynamic player in the league. And I'm huge pickup for Pat Kelsey. Kendall Campbell from Elon, another guy I chose. He might see some decent minutes here as a forward. Solid piece there, I guess. Don't know a ton about him, but I think he could be in for some decent minutes. Marquavius Brown from North Carolina A&T, decently ranked recruit, former Georgia commit, should provide some athleticism, physicality right away for North Carolina A&T. And then my last guy is Cornelius Robinson from Monmouth, another guy I think could be in the starting lineup for the Hawks at Monmouth. Yeah, should be a solid player on that team. So moving to my individual team review, starting from the last place team. Actually, I'm going to start with Campbell because they're new to the conference. I have Campbell this year sitting at 10th. I love Delorso, but besides Delorso on the roster, I don't really know what exactly there is. Tesos Cook from Vincennes University, JUCO point guard, should be impactful there. Overall, though, they don't have a ton else. Nolan Dorsey, Holy Cross transfer, just kind of whatever. Is he going to be eligible? I don't know. I have a star next to him in my roster sheet, so maybe he's not eligible. Obviously, Larunas Vesturis, I think he's a guy that could take a step up, as would Gediminas Moksekas. Two international guys, obviously. I think they're international, at least I would assume based on names that they're international. Two guys that could take steps up at like the guard wing position there. Sam Perez, High Point transfer. Alex Kotov, Illinois State transfer. A few bigs. Jason Sinani, returning guard. Colby Duggan, incoming freshman. Brock Bidwell, returning after not playing last year. Mason Grant, Elijah Walsh, Mehmet Benner. Overall, not a 10 out of Delorso, but I love Delorso, so that's just kind of why I'm putting him a little higher than some of these other teams at the bottom, and I think they're at least better than the bottom. Yeah, Delorso is going to be amazing this year. I am buying all the Anthony Delorso stock. Next team, we are starting with the bottom team last year in Hampton. I had the Pirates sitting at 12th this year. I mean, I like some of their pieces. I like Nesbitt at least. He has potential there. They did get Campbell transfer in Joshua Luzane. They got Tristan Maxwell from Georgia Tech. Wasn't a good player there, but was a high major recruit. should be a good point guard in the this conference. Tedrick Wilcox from St. Francis, Brooklyn. Solid player there. Should be another solid player next to Nesbitt on the wing forward. Jerry Dang, a good freshman pickup. Danny Bannister should be a solid guard. Kyrie Smolin, solid forward there. Yeah. Overall, though, yeah, Kyrie Smolin is actually very efficient offensively. Yes, still don't think they're like that much better than last year, though. Actually, they could definitely improve a lot. But I don't think they're going to be like super outstanding. They have some pieces, though. They got Matt McFarlane, played at LaSalle 2 years ago. Trey Thomas, solid backup point guard. BJ Marable, JUCO transfer. Amir Nesbitt. Wonder if he's Jordan Nesbitt's brother. I have no clue. Will Henderson, Easton Duncan, some redshirt freshmen. Ford Cooper played at South Carolina, played at Missouri State previously. Worth a shot at Hampton at least. Quentin Livingston, Donovan Raymond. That's like 16 players. I don't know who's actually on scholarship or who's even there. But yeah, Nesbitt, Wilcox, Maxwell Mullen, solid pieces there. Luzane, definitely some optimism there that are actually going to see improvements. I think they see improvements. Not sure how much, but definitely think it's a little bit better. They think they finished out of last place as they did last year. Next team in the conference is Monmouth, who I have finishing 13th. They did get Xander Rice, as I mentioned, huge pickup. They also got Nikita Konstantinovsky from Tulsa. Should be a good big man in conference. Really big guy. Yeah, lanky big man, should provide some impact there. Jack Collins. I think Jack Collins was a freshman last year. Yeah, so definitely someone that could take a step up efficiency-wise in a wing. Jared Valencia, a guy that could make an impact as a redshirt freshman. Good recruit. Cornelius Robinson, another guy. Jakari Spence, Clement Vuga. Definitely some potential there, but overall, Monmouth was playing better at the end of last year, but I still know, Miles Foster was really good. He's not going to be there anymore. Teron Allen, not there anymore. I don't know. That's a bad thing. He wasn't overly efficient, but no one at Monmouth was that efficient last year. It was a rough year for Monmouth. It was kind of shocking seeing them be that bad after they were like really good year before with like Shavar Reynolds and who did Monmouth have? Like George Pappas. They had another guy too. Trying to think of who. Let's look at this. I know Monmouth had a really good piece on the roster. Yeah, Walker Miller. That's who I was thinking of. Yeah, and they lost all those guys. They didn't think to pick up any guys in the portal last year, so kind of got set back. Maybe they see some improvements this year, but they have some young pieces, some room for improvement. They probably won't be in like the bottom of the country, but I still think they're going to be pretty bad, honestly. Next team up is Elon. Elon was like the last team in the country without a win last year, without a D1 win at least until January 28th. But from that point, they played kind of good. So there's definitely some improvement there. McKinnon was good as a freshman. I think Zach Irvin can be a solid player there. Sam Sherry was really efficient offensively. Definitely guy that I think could be decent. Kai Simpkins from Northwest Florida State JUCO could be solid player. DeAndre Smart only played 3 games last year. 4 games, I guess, counting the non-D1 game. Got hurt, I think. I would assume that was what happened. So I think he should be back this year. Definitely some potential there. L.A. Pratt, as I mentioned, think he could be a breakout player. Jadon Michael, I think he was a really good recruit for them. So I think definitely some potential there. Kendall Campbell, freshman I like. Actually, McKinnon, Rob Higgins from St. Francis, Brooklyn, double-digit score there, over 3 assists a game. So overall, Nicholas Doran, Grant Gondrzeg as a Carroll, some incoming freshmen. Overall, I think this team definitely gets a lot better. They were playing good to end of last year. Did I say where I had them? I don't think I did. I had them at 9th. Yeah, definitely think they improve a little bit. So yeah, not like not huge, but definitely think after the end of last year, they're on the right swing going to year 2 of the new coaching staff. So yeah, next team up in these standings um is Northeast Stony Brook. Stony Brook. I have Stony Brook at 6. Stony Brook was like they got hammered with injuries last year. Like I like Stony Brook last year because they have this backcourt of Aaron Clark and Dean Knoll, 2 transfers I think could be really good. And then they both got hurt. They played 3 games combined. Clark played 3 games. Knoll played 0 games. But those guys are going to be healthy now. Hopefully, Sabri Phillip is healthy as well. JUCO transfer can really jump out of the gym athleticism wise. So he's a guy that was also out all last year. They lost all of those guys. Obviously Frankie Balicelli, transferred out, but overall, definitely a team that I could see making some big jumps. Tyler Stevenson more returns, Keenan Fitzmaurice returns, Andre Snoddy, solid transfer from Central Connecticut State. Toby Onyekonwu return should be a solid backup point guard. Rashawn Frederick, another JUCO guy. Big man Chris Mado from Fairfield should be a solid backup big. Yeah, overall, I think they're due for big improvements. Like their starting backcourt was literally hurt all last year. And like, I mean, yeah, they were bad, but like just because they didn't like the guys they thought they would have, they didn't. But yeah, Stevenson Moore, very solid return, was probably their best player last year. So yeah, I think Stony Brook's in for a big improvement. I'm 6th in the conference. Should get a lot better. Next team up is Northeastern. I have Northeastern sitting at 11th. They weren't that good last year either. Again, they lost Jamil Telfort, Chris Doherty. Not a team I see like huge improvements, but I could definitely see them getting a little bit better. Lucas Akota, Harvard transfer, okay pick up there. Bryce Johnson, I actually do like just pick up a little bit more from Sacred Heart. Good big man, was really good at Sacred Heart. Kyle Squires, Lafayette redshirt freshman, was their other transfer addition. Yeah, but Joe Pridgeon, Jared Turner, Coleman Stuckey, they're good. Need some guys to step up, I believe. I mean, I like Bill Cohen. I think he's been a very solid coach there, but the past few years have been a little rough. I feel like he's kind of getting up there in age. Let me search up how old is Bill Cohen. Seems pretty old. Bill Cohen, 62. I guess maybe he's not that old. I thought he was older than that. But yeah, okay. So he still has some gas in the tank. Maybe he's getting up there. But Masai Trauman, another solid returner. Yeah, they're gonna need some guys to take some jumps. Jared Turner could be that guy. I mean, he was really efficient when he played last year. Didn't see overall a ton of minutes, but Telfort loss is pretty big. Doherty was really good too. Joe Pridgeon could be a guy in for a jump. Had some it wasn't too efficient last year, but everywhere he's been before that was a efficient offensive player, so he can take a jump there. Troutman was only a freshman last year, so he definitely has room for improvement, but overall, don't love this roster. Sakota wasn't a super efficient guy either. Alexander Nawaga, Rashad King, Glenn McClintock, Harold Woods, Colin Metcalf, some returning players, J.B. Franklin, William Kamori, some incoming freshmen. So not super high Northeastern, but I do like some of their pieces and think they could be in for improvement, but I'm not sure how much really. Telford was really good. Next team, though, is William and Mary. I have William and Mary at 8th. Another team I kind of low-key am in on. Obviously, Sean Haupt, really high end from Florida Tech. Put up big scoring numbers there. Gabe Dorsey, really good shooter. Having him on my all-conference team. Former high major player. His brother, I think it's his brother, Caleb Dorsey. I mean, they're both from the same hometown, so I think they're brothers. Penn State transfer. Didn't see a ton of minutes at Penn State, but saw minutes at Penn State, so... definitely something to work with there. I think the Dorseys can be good. Noah Collier, another former high major guy, like Mateus Case, former high major guy off the bench, like Trey Moss, South Florida transfer. So like this whole team is a lot of high major guys, and then Haupt, who's really good D2 scorer. Lamond was high major recruit. some solid depth pieces here, like Jack Karasinski, Chase Lowe, Charlie Williams, Jake Milkaritz, Ty Hamilton, incoming freshman. So, yeah, overall, I think there's definitely a lot to work with this roster. Definitely should see some improvements from last year, I think. Like the pieces in this team. I guess we'll see if they all connect, but definitely a team that I'm in on. They do some solid players, but I think they can definitely see some big improvements this year. Next up is North Carolina A&T. I have them last. I don't like this team. At least I don't know, like I don't know what their like who their like featured players are. Not really sure like who they're gonna get the big production from. The roster is not looking great when I look at it on paper. Let me check, see if I just missed any players that are on the roster that could be good. No, I didn't miss anyone. They just have like no one. Well, they're just so unproven. I don't know like what you're gonna get from any of these guys, honestly. They have like Kamian Shell, JUCO transfer from Coffeyville. Good JUCO program, but he didn't put up crazy stats here. I mean, good passing numbers, but like Jeremy Robinson, solid returner, I guess. Played last year, wasn't great when he played. Jason Murphy from Frostburg State is you got really good inside big man, rebounded, scored well. Definitely could make a big impact there. I think he might be their best player, but like Frostburg State's not that good of a JUCO, and he played at NGIT before and didn't do. I mean, ended up at D2, so I don't know. Evan Joyner from Yavapai Community College. Never heard of that community college, but he put up decent counting stats there. I don't know how good he is, but like Tyrese Elliott, Will Felton, former Arizona State player, Harry Morris, Jalal McKee, Garrison Powell. I don't know what there is on this roster. I don't like any of this. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't think this team is going to be good. Like so much unproven talent, and the talent they do have that's like played is not proven either. So don't know what we're getting out of this team. I don't like this team now. They're going to be pretty bad, I think. Some room for freshman breakout. So next team up is going to be Delaware. I have the Blue Hens sitting at 7th. We'll see if our CAA correspondent, Dan, Delaware correspondent, is happy about that or not. That's about where they were last year, I think. LJ Owens, Jameer Nelson, Ebi Mo were decent losses. But Jair Davis could take a scoring jump. Again, can really get buckets. Former high major player. Gerald Drumgoole, former high major player at Pitt. Put up some decent counting stats at Albany. Niles Lane, former high major player at Florida. Should be a pest defensively in the conference. Tyler Hauser played at VMI as a freshman. VMI was like all freshmen, but they were all freshmen in their lineup. But he could make a solid impact right away. I mean, he has a D1 experience, double-digit score. At least you could do worse than that for sure. Christian Ray, really good rebounder, solid wing player for them. Zion Bethe from St. Francis, Brooklyn, should be a solid. I think he's known as a shooter. Let me fact check that. But yeah, pretty sure he's like a shooter on the wing for St. Francis, Brooklyn, who is now not even a school anymore, at least athletically. But yeah, he's a shooter. Well, sort of. I mean, he shot 41% from three. Took a lot more twos than threes, but I think he could definitely play some good bench minutes. Jalen Trent from North Dakota should be a solid point guard option. Kevin Riley, Johnny McCoy, Kobe Jerome, Wes Peterson, Gabe Moss, redshirt freshman. Definitely some room for optimism here. Don't really know exactly where you're getting out of some of these pieces, but I mean, I don't know how offensively good like Lane can be. Like, I don't know. I don't know he's going to be a guy that goes down to mid-major level and puts up crazy numbers. Not sure if he's that guy. But yeah, I think there's definitely some room for improvement at least. Next team up is going to be Drexel. I have Drexel at 3rd. I really like what Drexel has this year. They're going to be a great defensive team. I love Amari Williams. Amari Williams is so underrated nationally. He's getting a little bit of respect now, which I like. But Justin Moore, good returning point guard. Lucas Monroe, solid player from Penn, good all-around transfer there. Luke House, Lamar Odin Jr., Jamie Bergens, Yame Butler, Tay Okros, Gerald Garfield Turner. Definitely think the continuity is going to be huge. Defense is great. Offense could take some steps. Yeah, definitely thinks it's a team that's in for a big improvement as a whole. So yeah. Yeah, Amari Williams is fantastic. Yeah, their only notable loss is Coltrane to Washington, who was lost eligibility. Besides that, they have everyone back from last year's team. We were really, really solid roster, I think. I know a lot of people are high in Drexel. I am as well. Next team up in the standings is going to be UNC Wilmington. I have the UNC Wilmington Sky. I think are they Skyhawks or Seahawks? I think they're Seahawks. Let me fact check it. I think they're they're Seahawks. UT Martin's the Skyhawks, but yeah. Anyway, I like UNC Wilmington. I like KJ. I love KJ Jenkins. I loved him at New Mexico. Never missed a 3-pointer in his life. I'm pretty sure. At least when I watched him. Trejarian White really solid. Really high level player as well. Malik Harden-Hayes, good big. Ahmad Harvey should be really physical inside big coming from High Point. Good rebounding numbers. Shaquem Phillips, solid return in the backcourt as well. Donovan Newby should be a solid player either off the bench or in the starting lineup. Yeah, Harden-Hayes really efficient offensively. Inside and out. Let's see who. Yeah, Newby was a solid offensive player as well. A good shooter. Noah Ross maybe goes a little bit of breakout as a sophomore. Nick Farrar is a player that I liked at times. Shamar Rithan Mays, Youngstown State transfer, could play some role. Minutes. Eric Vanderheiden, former high major guy, another guy there. Could play some solid back end bench. Kamari McGriff, Nolan Hodge, Matthew Moore's an incoming freshman. Overall, very solid team. Definitely a team that I think could compete with Charleston for the top of the conference. I think Charleston's a little bit ahead of everyone, but definitely like a lot that UNCW has. Really like White and Jenkins. Very solid duo there. The wing, backcourt. Definitely like a lot of this team has to offer. Next team up in the standings is going to be Towson. I have the Tigers sitting at 5th in the conference, if I recall. Yes, 5th. I think you're still a very solid team. Charles Thompson back. Messiah Jones, really solid piece. Marcus Watson, they got out for your ACL injury. They got Nenda Targ. Don't know what his status is. Feel like he's not eligible yet, is what I've been hearing. Ryan Conway was kicked off the team for reasons that you can look up if you care, but I'm not going to go into those details on this podcast. But Tomi Suleiman, though, is a good player from Indiana, Pennsylvania. Really, really, really good D2. Good rebounding numbers, should be good. I think he's pretty like a lanky forward wing that should really help them out. Christian May, Radir Hicks should be some solid players, see improvements. Dylan Williamson's the guy to watch out for as a redshirt freshman. Yeah, overall, Towson's been a very good program recently. Obviously, there's Cam Holden and Nick Timberlake. But I think there's definitely some room for still success here. Not room for improvement necessarily, but I like the transfers they brought in. The ones that are actually playing and the ones that aren't. But I mean, you can't really do much about the ones that aren't playing. But yeah, the ones that are playing should be solid. Chase Parr, solid backup forward. Mekhi Lowry, Tyler Tejada, Jaden Cole, solid freshman. Tyler Coleman, another returning forward. So yeah, I think Pat Scary's done pretty good at Towson the past few years. I think he should still continue being good. They were a little disappointing last year. I thought they were going to be like really good. They were only like just decently good. But yeah, still a team that I do really seem to like this upcoming year. Next team up is the let's see, is that Hofstra? The Hofstra Pride. I had them at 4th. Estrada was phenomenal. Aaron Estrada was a phenomenal point guard. Philip Stachy. But Tyler Thomas also filled up the stat sheet, averaging nearly 17 points a game last year. I think he could even do more than that with Estrada gone. Jaquan Carlos, really solid passing point guard for them. Darlington Dubar, solid forward wing. Jaco Fritz, guy I really like. Really skilled, really efficient. Kind of does it all at the forward. Center position, can pass. Good rebounder, good efficiency. Really a player that I do like. Eric Parnell, JUCO transfer. Silas Sunday, Iona transfer, could provide some depth. Big man, Miles Wilmot Butler transfer, another depth piece. Khalil Farmer, redshirt freshman. KJ Robinson, incoming freshman. Griffin Baruch and Christian Tomasco, solid returning pieces as well. And yeah, overall, pretty solid team. Losing Estrada is big. Estrada, I mean, you just can't relate a 20-point game score like that. But overall, I really like the job Speedy Claxton has done in his first few years at Hofstra. I think they're definitely still due for some more. Definitely still going to be a very solid team. Probably not going to be better than last year. I mean, they were 16-2 in conference. I think they're definitely going to take it a little bit step down, but still going to be very competitive towards the top tier teams in the league. But last team, Charleston, I've done first. I really like the roster. Pat Kelsey is an amazing coach. I mean, the roster is assembled. He brings the transfers from everywhere. I mean, Lafayette transfer, CJ Fulton, really good passer, could really shoot the ball as well. Bryce Butler, D2 All-American at West Liberty, like Frankie Policelli in the conference, really good rebounder last year. Kobe Rogers from Nova Southeastern, D2 champion. Meyer Wool was like a really highly regarded recruit. James Scott, maybe another freshman that could see a little bit of minutes right away. Ben Burnham was a guy that was super efficient in conference play last year. Maybe he cracks starting lineup. Rain Smith, solid returning shooter as well. Ante Berzovic, obviously everyone's counting on him to really expand his game into number one option. I think that could happen. Although previously, as I've stated, I think Butler might be that guy. Although Butler's not like he's not like a really like high usage, or not like, he's not a really high athleticism guy. Like I mentioned earlier, like that might be a little bit of a problem. Like looking at his highlights, he's a little bit slow and like not like super quick, but like he put up in numbers. West Liberty is a phenomenal JUCO. Charleston has a West Liberty pipeline going strong with like him, Dalton Boland, Pat Robinson. So I think this will be really good. Yeah, definitely like this team overall. Jordan Crawford, Evan Kilminster, Khalil London, 3 redshirt freshmen. So I honestly think this team can be really good. Pat Kelsey is an amazing coach. They lost 4 games last year, won over 30 games. Will that happen this year? Let me look at their schedule a little bit here. Who do they play? They play Iona today, Duquesne, Vermont, Kent State, Liberty, FAU, Rhode Island, St. Joe's. A really solid non-conference schedule. I'll test, see if they're good. I mean, they played good non-conference schedule last year as well. Got some really solid wins. So yeah, Pat Kelsey's phenomenal. Charleston's a really fun team to watch. They play fast. They're just really fun team. I like those teams that play fast. Have a lot of offensive pieces, a lot of versatility. So yeah, that concludes our CAA preview. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those accounts. If you're listening to this on the podcast platforms, give us a 5-star review. That would be extremely appreciated. Yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up the CAA preview. Next up is the ACC. I may be doing that alone, may not be doing that alone. We will see. But yeah, ACC is up next. ACC is the final conference preview of the year, and that is up next. College basketball starts in under 1 hour and 30 minutes. Not gonna make that deadline, but not gonna miss anything important. But yeah, we're so close. Yeah, ACC, you are up next.